If you are a pregnant mom watching this, then congratulations. It's going to be a beautiful journey, a very unexpected journey, and you're not going to get it all right. You're not going to make the most perfect baby registry. You'll probably have this same experience where you're looking back on it. You're like, man, I wish I would have done this differently. Like, we can't know. Everything is in hindsight, but it's going to be a beautiful journey, and I'm excited for you. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Melissa. I am a former therapist and a current stay-at-home mom. And on my channel, I talk about attachment, spirituality, mental health, parenting, and slow living, and how they're all connected to each other, in my opinion. Today, I'm switching things up just a little bit. I feel like having some fun and talking about baby registries. My initial introduction to online mom content was baby registries. Shortly after finding out that I was pregnant with my daughter 3 years ago, I was looking up, what are people getting these days? What are people putting on their baby registries? What should I be considering for myself and my daughter? The baby registry that I made was fine. It was good. It was very minimal, intentionally. I didn't want to bring in a lot of stuff. However, there were some items that were on my list that I was surprised at how much I liked them. Things that weren't on my list that people got me that I was surprised at how much I liked. And then there were other things that I didn't even anticipate needing that I ended up buying afterwards that I wish I would have known in the beginning how valuable those things would have been to me. So that's what I want to talk about today. So I'm not going to go into all of the details of all the things I liked and all the things I didn't like. I will start off this video with a few honorable mentions, things that were cool and nice to have, but weren't pivotal or anything. I wouldn't say they were essential. One of those things was one of these Freda nose pickers. A lot of people 3 years ago, when I was pregnant, were talking about the Freda nose sucker, and I got one of those. I put it on my registry, and what I found is I didn't like it. What I liked better was one of these things. Even though it's not super essential, I only used it a few times. A couple other things that were really nice to have but not essential was like a little floor gym. Another honorable mention are these little kid cups, and I would say little kid spoons and forks and plates. These kind of things have been obviously great to use. Although my daughter, she loves to do what we're doing. So there are so many times when we just give her a regular plate and a regular big fork, and she loves it and she does just fine. I would even put her high chair, which you can see it right there, in the honorable mentions. I love that thing. We use it all the time, but oftentimes she doesn't want to go in there. She wants to sit in my lap, or now she's big enough to sit in just a regular chair. So it's one of those things that's been great. I'm glad we have it. I would put it on my baby registry again, but I don't think you need to make a big deal of it and get the most expensive one. Unless you are into that, that's fine too. The things that I got and I did not use at all, or my daughter didn't want to use, were her bassinet. She didn't use that at all. My baby was a contact sleeper, so that was that. You never know until you have the kid that you have, so it's nice to have a bassinet, but we never used it. It just became a place to put blankets and pillows and clothing. Same thing with bottles and pacifiers. She didn't like it, and it worked out okay for me because from my understanding of breastfeeding, it's actually better to not give those things to your baby. That way you can have a regular, sustainable milk supply. Baby shoes. We didn't really want to put baby shoes on her because it's better for growing feet to not have shoes. But then what we didn't anticipate was once she was actually walking, my baby didn't want to wear shoes. She wanted to feel her feet on the ground. It wasn't until she was about 21 months old that she was willing to wear shoes. We got all kinds of shoes, sizes 3, 4, 5 that she just grew out of. It wasn't until she was a size 7 that she was ready to wear shoes. So again, that's one of those things you don't know until you meet your kid. And the other thing that we didn't really use was those silverette things. I did buy them. Someone gave me some cream, but my lactation consultant told me not to use those things because she said that it actually be more harmful than it can be helpful. So do your own research on that. But I will tell you what worked for me, which was very unexpected, which was Manuka honey. So this is not your typical nipple cream, and I don't think most people need this, but this was a surprising one for me because I had actual like cracks and like a big wound on my nipple for weeks that would not heal. And the only way that it would heal was with Manuka honey and just resting it. For a whole week, I had to pump on the one breast that was wounded so that my daughter wouldn't use it, because every time she used it, it made it worse. So she used the healthy side while the other one rested and just was using the pump because that's a lot less like abrasive on your nipple. And so it rested for a week, and then I did the Manuka honey, and that was the only thing that worked. So this is just a good thing to have in your first aid kit, no matter what. Along those lines with the breastfeeding, something that I'm surprised at how much I needed was a lactation consultant. So I know that this is not like baby registry, but if your insurance doesn't cover a lactation consultant, then I would put it on my baby registry. I'm very fortunate that my insurance did cover it because I needed to see a lactation consultant about twice a week for like 5 weeks. So I think 10 times we went and we saw her, and it was a team of lactation consultants, and they were a godsend. They helped so much because we were having such a hard time. Like, thank God my daughter was getting enough milk. Like, we were able to latch and she was able to get milk, but for some reason that wound would not heal. And we were just trying all kinds of things and it wasn't working. And I was desperate and I needed that support. What I didn't know then, that I know now, and I wish all moms knew, is that breastfeeding is not necessarily intuitive. That there's a lot of factors, and it's really nice to have the support. So the kind of unconventional thing that I would put on a baby registry is help or money to go towards a lactation consultant if you don't have that available to you with your insurance. And along those same lines, something that's unconventional that I did not put on my baby registry, because who thinks to do this? I'm sure there's some smart people out there that have thought to do this, but I did not, which is these 2 books. This is called Sweet Sleep, and this one is called The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding. They're both by the La Leche League International, I believe. These 2 books were so helpful in those early weeks and months with breastfeeding and with sleep. How to kind of marry those 2 relationships together, because a lot of breastfeeding does happen at night. And it's a big thing that's in this book is like how to safely co-sleep and bed share with your baby, which, like I said, my baby would not go in her bassinet. So we had to bed share, and I was open to it, knowing what I knew about the relationship between sleep and breastfeeding and how it's really kind of biologically appropriate, and that there's a safe way to bed share. And this book really went into that. These were a lifesaver. I didn't know I need, and I ended up, overnighting on Amazon, a few weeks in when I was like really, really needing help. I would also say unconventional things that you might consider putting on your baby registry are parenting books. These are 2 great ones: Hunt, Gather, Parent, and Good Inside. I have already talked about this one quite a lot on my channel. This one, I've referenced it, but I haven't talked about it explicitly. I could do another video talking about the lessons that I've learned from these books. You can find a lot of those videos on YouTube already. I would highly recommend it, but put some parenting books on your baby registry. Why not? And these are some good ones. They're very attachment informed, even though Dr. Becky Kennedy knows that. She's a clinical psychologist, but McKellen Duclef, who wrote this book, she, she's not a parenting expert. She's not a psychologist, but so I don't know if she knows about attachment, but what she learned in her studies of parenting was that what worked was things that were kind of rooted in attachment, even though she doesn't use those language and that's not the lens that she's looking at. But when I look at what she has to say, it's like, oh, that makes sense, because it's all about connection and proximity and trusting your children and giving them dignity and respect, which are all about how you have that sort of close connection and relationship. So, recommend. I'm going to stay in the breastfeeding theme for right now. And that is one of the things that I did put on my registry that I was surprised at how much I loved, was one of those ladybug milk catchers. I tried the Haka one that people talk about a lot. I didn't like it. And from what I can tell, it does suction a little bit, which can increase your milk supply and give you an oversupply unintentionally. So having something that doesn't suction and it just sits on the breast and collects the letdown is great. And so because I did have quite a bit of letdown, it was so nice to have something to catch it and something to passively build up a small milk supply, to keep in the freezer. So I loved the ladybug. Talking about, breastfeeding and bed sharing, something that was not on my registry that I didn't need to put on my registry because I already had it, but I would recommend to people put it on their registry if they don't, is a mattress protector. Because when you're sleeping with your baby, there's going to be milk that gets on your mattress. There's going to be pee, if their diaper leaks on your mattress, it's just going to happen. So, or spit up. So it just gives you so much peace of mind that you don't have to worry about your expensive mattress and you could just take care of your baby and yourself, no big deal. My baby did spit up quite a lot in the beginning. I was surprised at how much I loved these burp cloths that were really like diaper liners from the brand Gerber. If I find a picture of them, I will put it up so you can see what I'm talking about. I didn't put this on my list. Someone gave it to me, an older woman who probably used them as cloth diaper liners when she was having her babies, decades ago. She knew. I was grateful for her. I didn't know what to do with these when I first got them, but I was like, you know what? I'll just use them as a burp cloth or whatever. They worked so well because they're so absorbent. They worked better than any other burp cloth that I tried. The cute ones with the cute little designs, it's I like the cute ones. They were nice to have, but not for functionality. I barely use them at all. If I were to make a registry again, I would just put those functional plain white ones on there again, no problem. Realizing now how much everything that's what I'm surprised at how much I liked was breastfeeding related, because the other things that because you do it so much. I mean, I breastfeed on demand. I still do. My daughter's a toddler. I still use some of this stuff, which are these bras from Target. They come in a 2-pack, I think, and I got 4 of them. They're just really easy, sports bra. I don't even know what the brand is. AUDN, however you pronounce that. I love these things. I wear them all the time. I'm wearing one right now in a different color. I just didn't want to do a regular bra. I just wanted a sports bra. This one's super easy, super comfy. Can't go wrong. And along those lines, I didn't realize how many nursing shirts that I would want. I got a lot from the Buy Nothing group in my town. You don't need to see what a nursing shirt looks like, right? So I've used these for years now. I don't use them as much anymore just because when we go out in public, my daughter doesn't really nurse as much out in public. But, you know, when she was younger, of course she did. And so it was so nice to have nursing shirts. So if you plan to breastfeed, then I would highly recommend putting several nursing bras and several nursing shirts on your list. That brings me to the next thing on the list when we're like out and about, are baby carriers. I tried multiple different carriers. There were some that I liked, but my baby didn't like, or vice versa. The one that I'm surprised with how much we used it and how much I liked it was the Tush Baby. This is one that goes around your waist, and it has a little seat for your kid to sit on, and then it has all these pockets and places to put diapers and place to put like your phone and your keys. So you're like totally hands-free and you could hold your kid on your hip. So this is something that I didn't start using until she was, you know, I don't know, 6 months old or something. But we still use it to this day if we know we're going to be like out and about going for like a long walk, and she's going to want to be held for some of it. So I still use this thing. I'm surprised at how much I loved this thing. The only thing is that sometimes I would use it too much and it would kind of hurt my hip. Like, I don't think it's meant to be a like something that you hold your kid on for like an hour or two, and sometimes I would. So it would kind of hurt my hip a little. But that could also be just kind of like a part of my like SI joint that didn't fully heal after giving birth. Also, because we would use it so much and so long, I do think that it kind of like the seat sort of lost its integrity after a while. Because I don't know, I think because we use it so much, it's so well loved. So I would for sure put this on a baby registry. We used other ones too. I had the boba wrap. We use this one in a variety of ways at different stages of her development. That one's cool. It's just, you know, takes a lot of maneuvering. So you have to kind of be open to that, or like willing to learn how to do it. And we had a variety of more structured ones. You know, this one you could put on your back or your hip, or of course the front. When she was like front facing on my chest, let's say from like 5 months up until like a year old, we went for a walk like every day in one of these kinds of carriers. So I loved all of the carriers basically that we used, except for I was really sad that I could never figure out the ring sling. That was just like user error. I wish I could have figured it out, but I never did. So we didn't really use that one, and I'm sad about it. One piece of clothing, like baby clothing, that I was surprised at how much I liked were sleep gowns. So the sleep gown is the one that it doesn't have any legs. It's just an opening. So that way, when your baby is sleeping in the middle of the night and you need to change their diaper, all you have to do is just like roll it up, take their little legs out. You don't have to worry about zippers, snaps, and you don't have to worry about putting their legs in and out. It was just such a lifesaver when you are so tired and you just need to do it real fast. I was surprised at how much I loved these. This is her little newborn sleep gown that I saved. I re-gifted most of her clothing, but I saved a few items, and this is one of them. Little giraffes. I just love it. An item that I was surprised at how much I liked it, and also surprised that we didn't use it for like 8 months until she was ready to stop contact napping and was able to sleep on her own for a little bit, was a baby monitor. I actually did not put a baby monitor on my list, but my sister was smart enough to give us one, and I'm so grateful, because I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I was like, she'll be in the other room, like no big deal, but it is nice to have the peace of mind and to be able to close the door and kind of do your own thing. And I'm glad I have a baby monitor. So thank you to my sister for being smart and putting one of those in our gift basket. And the last thing, I did put on my baby registry and I loved it, but I was surprised at how I kind of wish that I would have done things a little differently with the right amount of time, the right amount of resources, financial resources. I would have wanted something different. So what I put on my registry was a meal train. I had a few weeks worth of people coming to the house just to drop off some food for us, and I loved it. I needed that. I could not cook. It was not an option for me because I was dealing with all of the breastfeeding and all of the pain and all that stuff. Like, it was not available to me. And my husband was only able to take a couple weeks off before he was back to work. So it was just, I was so grateful for that meal train. However, knowing what I know now, I would have preferred a postpartum doula. Someone who could come in and really help with things, and help just take care of me and help to prepare some meals. I also wish I would have, had some more meals maybe already prepared, but I wasn't feeling well in my pregnancy. So it was really challenging for me to meal prep and put meals in the freezer. That's why I wanted to do the meal train. So that would have been nice, but it's the postpartum doula. I really wish that I would have hired someone, and I know that's a weird thing to put on your registry, but if you have someone who's willing to financially support you in that way, I would highly recommend that either you hire someone yourself or you ask the people in your life for financial support to get a postpartum doula, because that would have been so helpful and amazing to have, because I was surprised at how hard breastfeeding was and how tricky just the whole shift from maiden to mother really is. And you think about, oh, your whole life is going to change, but you don't understand how much your life is going to change until it does. And I wish I would have had a postpartum doula. Okay, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Those are the things that I wish I either would have put on my registry, or I was really surprised at how much I liked or I wanted or I needed. I hope this has been helpful to you in some way or another. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to try to answer them. If you are a pregnant mom watching this, then congratulations. It's going to be a beautiful journey. A very unexpected journey, and you're not going to get it all right. You're not going to make the most perfect baby registry. You'll probably have this same experience where you're looking back on it. You're like, man, I wish I would have done this differently. We can't know. Everything is in hindsight, but it's going to be a beautiful journey, and I'm excited for you. And if you are interested in learning more about parenting and attachment and all of those sorts of things, then please check out some of my other videos and like and subscribe if this is your thing. All right, thanks for watching.